Beyond the Huddle, a Central Arkansas FCA podcast where faith meets competition. Join host Josh Adair and Zach Rose as they dive into real stories from athletes, coaches, and leaders making an eternal impact through sports. Each episode brings powerful conversations on faith, leadership, and living boldly for Christ in every field of play and walk of life. This is Beyond the Huddle.
Welcome to Beyond the Huddle, the Central Arkansas FCA podcast where faith meets competition. I'm your host, Zach Rose. My co-host, Josh Adair, is back with me today.
Let's do this.
We are glad to be back and in business today because we've got lots of fun things to talk about. We had FCA Camp. We had a coughing attack.
Yeah.
We had the World Cup's going on, and we have very special guests in here. Mr. Rick Moppen's with us today, so we're super excited to have him back.
Great to be here.
If you're a true fan and follower of the show, you know Rick was on a little while back talking to Mr. Nate Thomas on here from Maumelle Football. So we've got a lot to learn more so about Rick here, but want to give Josh some opportunity to share some thoughts and what all is going through his brain today. So,
me?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous place to ask me what's going on inside my brain.
A lot of void up there.
A lot of void?
Yeah,
crazy.
There's
a lot of void to explore.
Lots of run-on sentences. If you were to look at my browser or my brain, I got about 101 tabs open. It's crazy. I don't know how I exist sometimes and what's going on and why I can't hear my – whoa. There we go. I'm wearing these headsets. I can't even tell.
Get back into the
taking
swing
it
of
off.
things.
The headsets. They're not – okay.
If you're not watching,
I just took my headset off.
Among the voids.
Yeah. Just replayed in my mind. If it's not important to say, it's important not to say it. So apologize to everybody who heard that. No, I'm just really excited to be back here to talk ministry, talk success of FCA Camp. It was a long 10 days for Zach and I as we went and set up camp and prepared and trained huddle leaders and set up fields and painted lines and talk games and then just to hear conversations, which we'll talk about here more in a minute, people of encountering Jesus on a competition field and how that helped shape their faith and help them know that it's okay to compete. And it's okay to compete at a high level. It's okay to learn something new. God actually created competition. It's not sinful. God receives glory through it all. And just really, really good.
It was a great week. I know Rick was posted up watching Paddle Smash all week. So
it's my goal to help these campers understand the joy it is to compete in Paddle Smash, which I had until Sunday the 7th of June never seen before, but loved it and quickly picked up on it and could share some insight and expertise, but mostly just share encouragement. We could have fun together.
Yeah.
And it was great, a really great time. For me, it was only 8 days, but I didn't have to train.
Yeah, but you're there a long time, though.
Yeah, good time.
Most people come for 3 days at a time or 4 days, Sunday through Wednesday or Thursday through Sunday. But Rick, I think you did get a break. You did get to go home for a little bit.
I got to sleep in my bed Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Back out there Thursday morning.
I
Loved it.
Did not, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's always fun to me watching. It was so fun this year introducing some new games and watching students just kind of, some of them are disinterested at first. That's what I was watching pretty closely, watching these student athletes interact with these games. And at first they're a little hesitant. They're like, I don't know if I want to go on. But by the last day, everyone's fully in it. Like they are going for it. They want to win. But it's kind of like, they see their peers around them. They don't want to look awkward when they're playing. I think that's what it is most times. Mm-hmm. But by the end of the week, they've gotten so comfortable with the people around them that they're willing to try new things and work together as a team to accomplish a goal together. So that's always super cool to see happen, whether it's FCA camp or on a school campus, whatever that may be. But
ultimately, I think it's scriptural because Paul exhorts us to run the race as if to win and don't box in the air. And so I think over time,
so shadow boxing is not a good thing.
Well, shadow boxing in training is okay, but don't just do that.
Don't compete like that.
It's not just a workout for your arms.
Yeah.
And the joy that these kids have. Even in failure, they can still have joy because they competed. It's the competition, the one-on-one, the one-on-many, the many-on-many. It's just that brings joy that they otherwise would not experience. Yeah. There's other joys they will experience, but they wouldn't experience that joy that competition brings. Yeah. And they fully embrace it. I agree. By the third day, it's an amazing transformation, really, from the first day for some individuals. For others, they hit the ground running. They're ready to go. That's part of why they're there. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a repeat camper, then competition is what you look forward to. You just hit the ground running. But like Zach said, to the functional extroverts or functional introverts, that's the right word. Yeah. They're used to just being on their own, and they got to figure out, because you come to camp with a lot of your own friends, but then you get split up to people that you don't know, huddles, forcing you to build relationships, which is a lot of like what happens on school campuses. So
correct.
There's a lot of things that happen at FCA Camp by design that transfers into school leadership that not a lot of people see from the outside until you get in the middle of it. So that's one thing I like about the competition schedule and the games that we play. They're not very sport specific. Some are, but most of them are just there to have fun, and you got to figure out how the game is played and what the rules are and how you compete and how you can better serve your team, just like you do come back from dead week in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, in real life, you have to experience the discipline of learning. So you have to stay teachable and grateful, which is near and dear to my heart, because every morning as I do my devotion, I pray that God would find me teachable and grateful. Because there's two things I can overlook. I'm an old guy who knows lots of stuff, but I don't know what I don't know. And I get to talk to students and coaches and let them know, you're young guys who know lots of stuff, but I submit you don't know what you don't know. So if you stay teachable, you're actually reachable. Mm-hmm. And if God's the one who's reaching out, you don't want to miss what he's got for you. So that's where gratitude comes in, because you're grateful that even as old as I am, I can still be taught things if I'm willing to be taught. Yeah. So
that's good. Competitions were good. Services were great. Opportunities to speak into and encourage students in their lives and coaches and what they've got going on. I know it was a big encouragement. I talked to a student who received a call to ministry, call to be a youth pastor at FCA Camp, is not necessarily an athlete, came to FCA Camp because he had some friends who were excited about it, and left with a deeper sense of understanding of God's love for him and the call in his life. So it was so funny hearing just the thought process of the games maybe aren't my thing at first, but by the end, it was less about the games and more about the camaraderie with a team and working together for a common purpose. So it's good to push yourself hard. And those athletes, they push themselves hard through the competitions. And for some, it's easier than others because they do that often. But to see that come full circle, to have many conversations with many students throughout the week, whether it's passing by, whether we're fishing in the pond and getting schooled by a junior hire because he's a beast fisherman and I'm a kid from Illinois who didn't really fish growing up. That's another story that I'm sure Josh would love to tell at some point.
That's
but
great.
Just great opportunities to interact with students all throughout the week, hear their hearts, ask good questions, and challenge them to go deeper in their faith. So it was a great week overall. We really enjoyed it. Josh, I know you got some numbers over there you're kind of looking at.
I was just looking at the scoreboard from camp. A lot of people ask how many people actually come to camp. That's one thing that we do count, that we try to keep track of. There's 281 junior high campers, 304 senior high campers, but with college huddle leaders at 43, 64 coaches, staffs, and volunteers, total camp attendance over the course of the week was 692. But at any one time, there's close to 400 or so on campus, 350, whatever that number is. I think 400 max was about right, because every bed was full and everything was packed out. So, it's a lot of fun, a lot of good times. FCA doesn't necessarily measure being in the South. We want to know how many first-time decisions and recommitments and all those things. FCA has kind of lumped that into faith commitments. which is a little muddy. And it's not as detailed as I would personally like, because I want to know how we can engage them in their relationship with Jesus further. If it's first time, then all right, here's what core Christian beliefs are and how to start your relationship with Jesus. Or if you're growing in your faith, all right, where did you derail? Where did you sidetrack? How do we safeguard that? How can we identify triggers that identify sins of choice? What are the triggers in your life to safeguard from that, to keep pursuing Jesus with all that we have? But total faith commitments from junior high camp were 271, with 4 sensing a call to ministry. Total faith commitments for high school camp was 283, with 7 feeling a call to surrender to ministry. So, which is phenomenal for me. Student pastor at heart, been a student pastor. I still consider my role in FCA is still to be a student pastor, but to see those surrendered to hear God speak directly to them, to have a lifelong calling to pursue ministry, whether it be full-time in a church setting or in a ministry like FCA, which supports local churches, or to know that they are going to one day choose their calling that God has placed them, like many people listening today, to serve in ministry in the workplace. To take the gospel in the name of Jesus with them wherever they go. So to have the opportunity to walk alongside these guys and girls and to help them discern how God is leading them is a great, big blessing.
One of the real blessings that stood out to me about the students in the sharing time, where they had an opportunity to share their testimony, what they experienced their time at camp. There were 2 things that stood out. One, unlike most years, I've been doing this for 6 years. This is my 6th camp. And most of the time, there are several female campers who line up to give their testimony, and a handful of guy campers who give their testimony. This was inverted. There were well more young men who wanted to share what God did this weekend or that week with them, especially in the senior high. But the other mark was there were so many, I'd say, if I general, 80% of those who actually shared what God was doing that weekend in their lives. There were many repeat senior high campers who said in the past they'd come to this and it equates to a mountaintop experience. They had a great time and they really felt closer to the Lord. And then they went home to exactly the same life they had. They didn't change anything. They were committing in public from the stage that this will be different. They are going to apply changes to the way they talk, changes to the friends they keep, changes to the type of friends they make. And it was stark in its number, and it was stark in its commitment. They were boldly in public with many of their peers in place, committing that this was going to be a life change for a lifetime, which is really my goal. The goal of all of our staff is to see life change for a lifetime in our lifetime. And that we have a small part in it. I mean, it's just remarkable that God would include us in what only he can do. But we get to be a part of what he's doing just by, like, as you said, Zach, just by encouraging them, just like cheering them on, clapping them, tell them you got this. It seems so small in its capacity, but it's so impressive in God's capacity that even a smile and a cheer can change a disposition and give them a picture. Hey, I'm part of something bigger than myself. That is the joy of camp.
I think that's well said.
All right. Podcast is over.
Yeah.
Time to go home, everybody.
That's good.
That was phenomenal.
Speaking of something bigger than yourself, to kind of wrap up,
That'd be anything.
I feel like we could talk about
before you wrap up, I got a question for Rick. Rick, you're older than I am.
Some would say.
Yeah. I don't know who would not say that, but you're older than me. Why do you go to camp? Because you don't have kids there. You don't have grandkids there. Why do you choose as an FCA staff person to show up and serve at camp? What do you get out of it?
Well, there's a lot of joy, and it's hard to replace the joy. It's hard to find a different location where I receive way more than I give, because I'm basically a staff volunteer. Whatever's needed, I'm willing, if I can do it, I'm willing to do it.
Within reason.
And
if you don't ask people to dress up as
right.
That's
not going to happen.
Anything else like that.
Yeah, but you were a great buddy. Anyway, the joy I receive is because we're working together as a staff and as coaches and volunteers. We have a common goal, and it's way bigger than any of us could ever attain in our own strength and and really it's even bigger than what we can in our own strength as a team, because God's in it. And so I get a small part, whether it's filling ice bags, whether it's teaching someone what the nuances of paddle smash are, whether it's grabbing scores so that we can record the competition accurately. And in my case, the best part of my week is actually at 10:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. leading a coach's Bible study, where staff and coaches, anywhere from 4 to 8 guys, get together and we just go over God's word. And it's refreshing to me, because there's a community that is unlike any other community I have. I have friends that I've served in ministry with for 20 plus years. That's a great community. I have the staff that is Central Arkansas FCA. That's a great community. But this community of people who have just sacrificed, even if they're just sacrificing a few days of the week, or like I did the whole week, they're sacrificing for the good of others. And the transparency and the building of that community, where we look forward to it and we almost need it. It's a palpable need that's being filled because of the transparency that's created in that community. Well, we talk about our real lives and how God's word reflects on it, and it's powerful, and I don't want to miss it. Yeah. I could miss it. I mean, it's way more comfortable, even if I were just to drive the hour from my house to go in there and just be there for the competition, do all of the volunteering that I want to do, and get back home to my bed. That is, but I'd miss out, and I don't want to miss it, because God has proven over these 6 years, going on 7 years with FCA, 20 plus years of ministry before that, he's got something in it for me. And if he's got something in it, no matter what I did outside of it, I'd miss that. I don't want to miss it. So that's why I go to camp. Yeah,
that's so good. I think hearing what you say, and I would say it another way, you have to be in the room to receive the benefit, to receive, like, I can tell you the stories of it, but it doesn't mean the same if you're not there.
Agreed.
It's almost like you can learn Spanish in the classroom, or you can go to Spain.
Yeah.
You learn by immersion. You're around it. You're around the people. You're in it. You see it. You hear it. You work it. You do it. It becomes part of you, and you can't help share because you've seen.
And you can't miss the nuances that way.
Yep.
Right? You're surrounded by the nuances of camp. It just seems like a camp from the outside, but when you're in it, no, there's so much more to it. I'll give you a small example. One of the tasks I have at camp is helping the hydration team. Okay, the hydration team is, we've elevated their labeling. They basically fill the water coolers that we disperse throughout the camp, so that no camper will go very far without an opportunity to fill their water bottle.
Yeah.
And so my job is to make sure that they have ice, because if they don't have ice, they have to make ice so they can then have ice to get in the cooler with the water. It's that simple. Not a big job, not a real huge responsibility. But you know what? It means so much to the two coaches that are the hydration team most every year. It means so much that they just go to the freezer, pull out an already made bag. Like, that gives me joy. I know I'm helping somebody. And for me, this was the funny part this year. Usually they have, like at a gas station, the big container for ice that you'd see and you'd buy, and you'd open the door, and this whole thing. We have to make like 42 to 70 bags of ice to fill that thing at any given time. So we always try to keep up on it, right? Well, this year that machine was broken. It was cooling down to 79.5 degrees. So we couldn't fill it. But the camp made room.
Had I known that, I would have hidden in there most of the day.
Oh, yeah.
That would have felt great compared to the.
You'd think so. Anyway, so the camp staff made room in a chest freezer But we can only put 15 bags in there because they had other food and things that they needed in there. But they made room for us. Well, 15 bags took me 20 minutes all by myself. So at any given time, basically, whenever I'm near the cafeteria, I would go to that room with the chest freezer, open it up, see if they need any ice. If they did, 20 minutes of my time, 15 bags are in there. And at no time did my hydration team have to make ice to do their job. And it meant so much to them. Like, it was so easy for me. Mm-hmm. The camp director, the one who runs the overall camp, not an FCA staff, he said to me, so next year you want me to make sure it's broken again? So I said, okay with me. I wouldn't go out of your way to it, but yeah, worked well for me.
Man,
that's good.
Opportunities to get to serve and do the little things that, similar to the athletes, we're also exercising different parts of teamwork and doing the little things that help the greater overall purpose. That's so good. A lot of things to learn from that too. We appreciate your context and understanding of that, because I think that's an encouragement to anyone who hears that, of the mundane things that we, like you were saying before we got on the show, get to versus have to.
That's that concept, the attitude. I tell student athletes and their coaches that the coaches applaud that I say this to the student athletes. There's two things you control that no coach can give you: effort and attitude. And if you take on a have-to attitude because the workout's tough, you'll get through it, but your effort is not going to be all in because you've already decided it's something you have to do. But when you realize the privilege you have to play this sport God gifted you to play, why would you give less than all you've got to it and make it a get to, even if it's a workout that's hard, because you believe there's something bigger down the road, that this workout here in June is going to benefit in August and September, October, November. And every team's goal is to play in December. You never control the outlet. In football.
Every football team's
goal is to play in December. Sorry. Context is everything.
Basketball is still going on past December.
So I would hope you're playing basketball in December.
It's for the football teams that I'm with. The goal is to play in December because that means you're in the playoffs. And again, you don't control what happens in August on the scoreboard, but you control your effort and your attitude every workout, every rep. Yeah. So if you get the difference between get to and have to, man, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, this was not in the works for today. It's why I love doing podcasts, talking to people, seeing how God navigates and directs and gives you opportunity to speak and to hear. So here's my challenge to everybody listening from Rick's story of filling ice bags. What is God personally leading you to do that if you don't do, you're keeping someone else from doing what God is leading them to do? Say it again. What is God personally leading you to do that if you don't do, you're stymieing, you're keeping from, you're not allowing them to fully live out how God is leading them to do? Because in the body, every body part has a different form and function, but they all benefit the body. So what has Rick figured out for the hydration team to excel? Someone needed to fill ice bags. So he filled ice bags whenever he could so that hydration team could provide clean water and ice so that student athletes could get hydrated in water and so that they wouldn't get cramps, so that they could focus and pay attention when they were having huddle time, so that when it was time for service, they weren't dehydrated, they weren't sleepy, so that they could hear the gospel being presented to them. Had Rick not figured out how to serve the hydration team, even though he may have been assigned the role, figured out how much time it took and where to do it, he did it out of the gladness and the joy of his heart, then that kept people, student athletes, who begrudgingly came to camp because their parents made them or their coach told them or their friend made them feel guilty that they were going by themselves, to hear the gospel for the first time.
Amen.
And stuff like that we do every day that we don't recognize. So here's my question again. What is God leading you to do? Or what is your job, and what is your role in your family, or what is your role at work that you begrudgingly, like Rick said, you have the opportunity to get to do instead of have to do? That is keeping, if you don't do it, it's keeping someone else from doing what God is leading them to do.
Good question. Good premise.
Man, and we're just getting started here. We hadn't even talked about the World Cup yet, which I think is a good transition into the World Cup. Thanks for sharing that, Rick. That's an encouragement. to us for sure. But I think it does coincide with some of what's going on with the World Cup. And we were talking about it this morning in our staff meeting of us in the United States can't fully comprehend what the World Cup means, what it's like, because the U.S. has many sports leagues, has many big games, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series, the Stanley Cup playoffs. I was going to say I won't disrespect hockey on this show while Rick's here. But to see, we were talking about all the different reactions of different fans from outside of the U.S. coming in and experiencing the U.S. for the first time, understanding it in a different light, in a different way, and probably a similar get to versus have to in a lot of ways as well. But I know there's just so much to cover in that outside of even just like, honestly. And I'm one of the biggest U.S. men's national team fans that there is. But at the end of the day, these events that bring us all together are so cool to see them play out on a larger scale stage. Whether it's the little things from, I was watching a video on how because everyone's playing on real grass, they don't do any turf, which is great. If you can afford that, especially in professional sports, I think that's great for the sport. The grass looks great. All of the pitches look great, but the little details that go into that. There was this guy, he was talking about, similar to the story you're talking about, how he's worked for years on grass, studying it, getting it ready for this specific World Cup to then transport it 24 hours. They had semi-drivers that were going in and out. There wasn't any kind of gap between, because they needed to get the grass to the field so they could get the sod down so they could plant it and so it could do what it needed to do to get rooted and all the places and get watered and get taken care of. But little details to big details, they all matter in the grand scheme of any kind of event that's
Think of how many people are involved in that process.
Yeah.
And nobody gets any recognition.
Right. So many are not just are overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's just something about, because you're in it, that you had a part to play in that. Mm-hmm. And as overlooked as it may be, it's essential. Like, it doesn't run as well if those semi-truck drivers aren't on time. Mm-hmm. If they haven't mastered the way to back in and drop off, and the guys who unload don't do it in a certain way at a certain timing. You've got brown spots. You've got whatever flaw. It became available because way up the chain in the smallest region, we missed that deadline.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how many people can take for granted how essential their role is because it looks small in the big picture.
Yeah.
But it's not different. It's more accentuated in athletics. If we take all of our opportunities seriously, that they mean something, like, why would you give less than all you've got to it? Mm. It may look small, like you're not the play isn't designed for you to get the ball. But you still have to block, or you still have to set the pick, or you still have to throw the pitch. You still have to position your in fielding where you need to be, so that if the ball is hit to you, you still have to decide what you're going to do with it when it's hit to you. All of those things matter, and they're all so seemingly inconsequential until it breaks down.
Yeah.
And then, what the heck? Why were you over there? You're supposed to be over here. We're pitching him inside for a reason. How could you play up the middle? All of those things matter. And that's why coaches are important, because they see the guy drifting towards second base in the infield. They say, hey, get back in the hole. Okay. That little correction, that coach, what did he say? Hey, get back in the hole. Not a big deal, not a long sentence. But I mean, everything, when the ball was hit, right to the shortstop in the hole versus where he might have been. But you just give so the coach is paying attention. Look how little that is. A small thing. The coach is paying attention. Might not even be the manager. Might be a position coach. He's like, hey, the position coach is super important. He sees things. The manager's got many other things to look at. That's his gig. So do it. Yep. And he does. And things get successfully processed. Again, I tell teams, you're never in charge of the scoreboard, but attitude and effort, always. always your ownership. So be the best you can be with the best attitude. Trust God with the results.
That's right. That's good.
Soccer is also
Football.
Excuse me. I have, I'll be honest.
You got to say it's football.
I want to
French.
adopt it as football,
Football.
but I have a hard time doing that still.
I did not want to like it, but I did.
Oh boy, for context, we were talking about reviews and international citizens coming in to experience things like Buc-ee's and things like Texas Roadhouse that
and
we are
baskets
so
of chips at Mexican restaurants.
we are so accustomed.
The Chili's references, without mentioning Chili's by name, was just hilarious. There's so many references to Chili's. Before I could even order, they gave me a basket of chips and salsa. What is this red stuff? That's salsa. And it just kept coming.
So
what
incredible.
did I do to deserve those?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So the appreciation of the USA by those who have never been here before but were told stories about it are just so engaging to me. I just can't get enough of them. I'm not mocking the Frenchman. There's a very famous Frenchman. Now he's ultimately famous beyond his belief because he entered a Buc-ee's. And his words were, I did not want to like it, but I took one bite of the beaver nuggets and I was hooked. I don't know what's in them. I know lots of sugar, but I loved it.
And on the flip side, there's international teams trucking in and shipping in their own food.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to have to deal with the preservatives that's in the American food.
Yeah, true enough.
It's all the experience that we as Americans experience on a
absolutely.
day-to-day basis.
We could do that. Oh, we pay for a premium, but they don't want to wreck their gut while they're here, so they can perform at their best ability and have opportunity to represent their country.
Yeah. I love. I'll say to kind of expand this conversation real quick, but soccer. I played a year of college soccer. Played it through high school. Was a goalie. So I saw everything unfolding, and as I watched a lot of soccer at that point in my life, and still do, I like to watch how everyone's moving off the ball to create the play before it happens. But soccer is a team game. I mean, 11 guys working for the purpose of – there's very, very small examples of individual excellence that lead to goals. Most goals are because something broke down or because the team overwhelmed the other team.
Except the 40-year-old Cape Verde goalie who clearly showed his. I mean, now you're too young to really appreciate him at 40, but he's.
I have a hard time at 23 moving like that anymore.
He was outstanding against Spain in that 0-0.
For somebody who willingly throws his body on the ground and jumps back up again.
Yes.
If you're 40 or above. Try that when you get home.
Try that.
28 saves.
Send us a video. We want to see how well you rebound and 28 saves.
28 saves.
Incredible.
And they only got 6 shots on goal themselves, Cape Verde, against Spain.
Yeah.
But held them to 0-0.
Yeah.
Now, I think they lost yesterday.
Do you know where Cape Verde is?
It's it's a small island. It's off of Spain, I think.
It's off of Africa.
Africa.
Do you know what language they speak?
English.
Really?
I have no idea.
Spanish.
Oh, shocking.
Cape Verde means.
That's why I thought they were off of Spain, because they spoke Spanish.
Yeah, Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only we looked it up this morning. There's only 530,000 people on their cluster of islands as their population.
So it's bigger than Little Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their country. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, actually, their official language is Portuguese. Sorry, not Spanish.
Okay.
Still. We were talking. I was. If you have not seen the World Cup, if you've not taken the time as an American, it's on Fox. You need to watch it. Figure out a way to watch it.
Or Peacock.
Or if you, thanks for stealing
subscription.
Whatever YouTube TV, Hulu, whatever you're watching, you could watch it on. But last night, since I don't have Fox and I couldn't find the channel, I was like, I think so. I asked my smart TV where I could watch the World Cup, and it said Peacock. I'm like, okay, let's go to Peacock. We get on Peacock. It's only available in Telemundo.
It's only a Spanish broadcast.
It's only a Spanish broadcast. So here I am watching Egypt versus New Zealand in Canada through a Spanish broadcast.
Wow. I watched that same game in English on
I guarantee you
FS1.
the Spanish goal celebrations was more exciting than the English.
Yeah.
Can you give us a
The
reenact?
goal
Oh, yeah.
went on for like 20 seconds.
Yes, he does.
And
If you've never heard it before.
And it was phenomenal. And I'm like, it's almost like you're going to a foreign country and they're worshiping Jesus, and you know what they're saying, you know what they're doing, you know where they're going, but you get to celebrate it all together. I told our staff this morning, and I really felt like I was it's a glimpse of what heaven's going to be like. Multiple nationalities, all in the same stadium, all in the same place, engaged in what's going on. You know what's going on. You're aware of everybody else, but you're focused on one thing.
Yeah. Did Egypt come back?
Egypt won 3-1.
Yeah, because they were down 1-0 at the half. I watched the first half. I didn't watch the second half.
Yeah.
In Cape Verde, they drew in their game.
They drew.
So
how about that?
they play Saudi Arabia for a
Love
chance
that.
to move on to the
Love
knockout
that.
round.
You got to. I mean, I am cheering for Cape Verde.
First and second World Cup goals their country has ever scored in the World Cup.
That's amazing. And again, I don't know how many saves.
How many World Cups have they made?
This might be their first World Cup.
So
It's really pretty phenomenal. It is great story, and that is sports. And FCA is all about the underdog. We get to do what we do as part of his calling on our lives. It's such a freedom. So I can embrace teams like Cape Verde. I've never even heard of them until this World Cup, and I'm an instant fan. Yeah. I watch the enthusiasm of the game. I listen to the broadcast, and sometimes the broadcasters aren't catching it, and I'm watching the play, and I looked. Egypt looked so frustrated in that first half. I'm not surprised they came back, but they didn't look like they had New Zealand was packing the defensive end. They weren't even sending anybody across half pitch, and I didn't know how they were going to come back, but I knew that they had the firepower to do it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah. It's a fun atmosphere for sure. We were talking about if anyone saw or if anyone lives in Seattle, there was seismic activity because of the U.S. men's national team playing against Australia the other day. They literally measured it, and there was
a Geiger underneath the stadium to know that there was seismic activity from the energy in the stadium.
I saw as high as, I think it was 120 decibels or something along that lines, which is, it's funny because there's the football club in Seattle for the MLS. Are they the Sounders? I'm pretty sure it's the Seattle Sounders
makes sense.
Is the name, but it's very fitting for Seattle and the atmosphere that was there. I love it because it's, no disrespect to LA and the crowd that was there, but I mean, you get a lot of high profile people, this and that. They're there to enjoy the game. In Seattle, they were there to really cheer on and be a part of the game too. So, man, cool atmosphere.
There's one team that's flying under the radar, but they're making great ripples and waves in their Christian faith. They're from Curacao. Have you seen them?
I have not.
You don't know that?
No.
Curacao, which is a Caribbean island, Dutch island, they have been holding live worship sessions and singing songs. Like there's videos of them singing "Goodness of God" and "Jireh" for all the teams that they come to worship with them before the games, and they do prayer circles after the game. So Curaçao's come in. They've played. Where did I see that? Ecuador. In Germany, after they're on the pitch, they're fighting it out. They're having prayer circle with everybody, the entire, similar to what we see here in Central Arkansas, teams coming together after the game.
Well, USA and Australia did the same thing.
Absolutely.
In Seattle.
Yeah.
And to see Fox News highlight that
was, I know. Phenomenal.
Very, very well.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah. I think they did a great job not cutting it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just a great job. Because it was all over the internet.
We try to figure out ways that we can highlight Jesus in all that we do. And we send missionaries from the United States to all these other countries, but see all these other countries openly praise Jesus Christ here in the United States, that they're bringing with them their own personal relationship. It just gives me chills, makes me excited.
I'm feeling the chills right now just in just remembering what I saw on Friday. It's really powerful. It's really powerful.
You never know what those experiences lead to. I think sometimes, I'll be honest with you, like in the past, sometimes I get critical of a picture taken of a huddle and prayer that's just like a quick moment after you saw them interact with each other on the field of play, whatever that may be. I think my heart has been softened a lot to the idea of you never know what God could be doing in the life or the heart of someone. And I think when we get to a place of assuming something rather than trying to experience and understand God's heart for us is when we can really see a fuller picture of the goodness of who God is and what he does. Because who knows, on the U.S. team, there could be really just one or two firm believers in Christ, but the shockwave of some of that and the seed that's planted, I don't ever want to be someone who's scared to share the gospel with someone with the fear of them misrepresenting it so much that I don't actually pursue them the way that I need to, because I think sometimes we can get this fear of like, well, maybe I'll let them kind of do their thing for a little while because I feel like if they really proclaim that out loud, it would be a misrepresentation. We all misrepresent Christ in a way.
That brings us back to camp.
Yeah.
That's why we serve at camp. That's why we host a camp. That's why we invite kids to camp. Yeah. And it also brings it back. You mentioned Nate Thomas. Mm-hmm. Nate's going to West Point. Mm-hmm. I actually talked to him during camp via text. And I have another mentee that I knew from Central when he was a ninth grader. He's now graduated. He's 2 years beyond. He's going into the Air Force, just finished basic training. Mm-hmm. Both of those guys, I get to have a part in their life. It's a small part. No grand scheme. But they reached out to me to check out what I was doing and if we could get together. And awesome. It was the best. Like, who am I? And it reminds me of Psalm 8. And this is right in what you're where the question David asks is, who is man that you're mindful of us? Like these little joys that we get. You mentioned the joy of watching this assembly take place on the pitch. What joys do we have in seeing? I saw a young man by the name of Zachary from Central High School. He's going to be a senior this year. Yeah. Outspoken guy. I knew him first time as a seventh grader at Pinnacle View Middle School. He came to my FCA club, the very first FCA club I had there. I've had 5 years of it, but he came to the first one. He's gone to Fields of Faith. Last year, he spoke at our Fields of Faith, one of the student testimonies. And as soon as he got to camp, he reached out, looked for me. I was actually having a conversation with a staff member in the meeting room. Somebody put their hands on my shoulder. I thought it was just another staff. I was going to finish my conversation. I turned around, and it's Zach. Hey, Mr. Rick, good to see you. Like, I get that. I'm nobody, and yet I'm somebody in God's economy, way bigger than I. Obviously at 5'5", there's a lot bigger than I am. But it's so cool that God gives us a part to play. It's Absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's good. I've got a question. What happens if the U.S. and England play on the 4th of July
in Philadelphia?
It's not happening.
It's not. Is that like?
It's almost an impossibility.
Well,
That's not what I heard on Friday.
It was almost an impossibility 250 years ago too. But the semi-quincentennial is upon us. Yeah, you heard that right. Semi-quincentennial.
Can you spell that?
Wow. I cannot spell it, but I can say it.
Let's not use words we can't spell.
Semi-quincentennial. Wow. That's what's coming up. Wouldn't that be like the most electric game ever?
I'm all for it. I think it'd be great, but I don't think it's. I don't think there's reality for it to happen.
Okay.
I saw the tourists, a handful of them from Britain. What are you doing to set us up this way? How could you schedule a pitch in Philadelphia, of all places, for U.S. and England to meet? It can't be. The deck is stacked against us, and we're not even in the game.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that is
really
so good.
Wild. Pretty wild.
Wow, man, I love the World Cup. I've told a couple people I think it's bigger than the Olympics in some ways too. If you consider the sheer magnitude of what soccer is as a sport across the world, it may not actually be bigger than the Olympics, but I think in a lot of fans' hearts, I mean, that's the Olympics of soccer. That is the mecca of that sport, of the world's largest sport. This is the biggest stage. So it's cool to kind of see that all come into action. It's great that they expanded the field this year too, where there's more teams that are there, more countries that we never heard of getting a chance to play. That's why March Madness is so great. Like, I look at the field of 64, they're making an expansion this next year. I don't think that tournament should grow anymore, but to have a few more teams with the opportunity to get in, let's do it. Like, I don't think anyone's going to say no to more basketball or more football in this case, but it is super exciting.
Football.
Yes. You said it right there. But what a cool event. I've seen when they did it, I think they had it in Rio a while back, and they're having to create all these stadiums there, build them up and this and that. It's been so unique and interesting to see because it's spread across North America. The U.S. already had the infrastructure for all of this.
Yep.
And stadiums, I heard the other day a stadium, I can't remember which one it was, but they specifically built it with the design in mind that it could hold a football field and a football field because they wanted to host the World Cup someday. And I was like, whoever designed that was just
great forward thinking.
Yes, had a great idea.
Again, think about that in how seemingly insignificant that thought then to fruition that now it's actually in place. And that guy that thought of that and got all the approvals that were necessary, and all of the people who agreed to it to make it a reality, it's not just, I was going to use the word vindicated. They're all rewarded is what they are.
Yeah.
They're all blessed with the fruition of, and the joy that comes from that. Yeah, you know what? I told them to go ahead with that. Whatever part you played in making this reality, you're in it.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than you.
Yeah. So I just typed into Google AI. It said likelihood of England and U.S. in the World Cup 2026. An England versus USA match in the 2026 World Cup is possible, but it cannot happen until the quarterfinals on July 10th in L.A. or the World Cup final on July 19th in Jersey.
If England makes it that far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. They can't. The bracket routing rules make it impossible for the U.S. and England to cross paths in the first two rounds of the knockout stage.
Oh, man.
That's tough.
What a missed opportunity.
I mean, just because they're in the same conversation, the same cup on our soil kind of makes that. I mean, I like the energy around it, but I don't.
Strong unlikelihood.
Yeah.
Kind of like the UFC fighting outside of the White House recently. That's a whole different area of sports and conversation. We've got 5 minutes, so I don't think we can cover all of that.
Not going there.
No, that's
probably a good idea.
That's a whole
probably
different.
a good idea.
We said it, and we're moving on.
Boy, as we look forward to the rest of the summer, Rick, I know you've got a whole story of your time in missions. We've got like 5 minutes left here. We got so excited talking about the World Cup that
it's all good.
I didn't see it going that long, but that's what a lot of Americans think about the World Cup. It goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. So.
That's right, and it's beautiful, is what it is.
It's amazing.
What are you excited for the rest of the summer, and for you kind of looking into the next school year? What's on your heart for what's to come?
Well, I led our small Central Arkansas staff in prayer today around Hebrews 12, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it's really all about the sacrifices that we make they pale in comparison to what God did through his son and the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. But there's a purpose in everything we do. So one of the questions, or the question, this is for here in Central Arkansas, they call it dead week for football teams. They really set these 2 weeks aside without activity in high school football.
All sports.
In all sports.
Yeah,
so
gets a break.
For me as a staff member with FCA, sports being the outlet of the mission God called me to. So the question that I asked myself and asked the staff, what are you doing in these dead weeks that recharges you or refreshes you or restores you. There's a purpose in not having activity. What do you realize as the purpose? What are you looking for to be gained? Because there's something to gain in these, quote, dead weeks. And for the spirit behind it for the Arkansas Athletic Association is that they'd reconnect with family, they'd have free time of themselves, they can, again, recharge or refuel. What is it for us as staff, as missionary staff? What is it God has set up for us during this downtime that is going to grow us, that's going to strengthen us, going to restore us, going to be a benefit to us? It can't be just a waste, because that's not what God does. He doesn't waste anything. So for me personally, I'm looking forward to what God reveals to us. I'm some personal support raising, trusting God with results, and I'm really looking to refuel. Camp was hectic. Camp was fun, and yeah, there's a bit of deterioration. I mean, there's some
camp was
exhaustion to it, right? There is. That's legit. It's real.
Yeah.
And yet, there's so much joy around that exhaustion. It's a great way to wear out, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I'd rather wear out than rust out.
Put that on a T-shirt. Wear that around. Man, that's good.
Kudos to Dennis Rainey for that quote.
Thank you, Dennis Rainey. And thank you, Rick Moppen, for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Huddle, the Central Arkansas FCA podcast where faith meets competition. Loved our conversation today. Was so glad and honored to just be able to talk with you guys who have learned and experienced so much in your life, but to be able to continually learn from experiences, to get to do things rather than to have to do them. We're so grateful. So thanks for joining us this week for this episode. We'll see you next week for another great episode. Love you. Have a great week. Bye.